When you think of the word addiction, what comes to mind? It's most likely alcohol or drugs. Yet for many, their substance of choice isn't found on street corners, it's in their own kitchens. Food. Unlike with other substances, a person can't eliminate food altogether. That makes food addiction an incredibly complex condition that can haunt its victims over the course of their lifetimes.
In my childhood, I was a sneak eater. I would, sneak food into the house. I would eat food when people weren't looking. And as an adult, because I was in the food business, it was always there. It was easy to get, and so I was like a constant eater. My top favorite foods are sweets, anything sweet. After that would be the salty, crunchy variety of foods. So, and I like the combination of the two, the salty with the sweet. Very dangerous foods for me.
Food addiction is unique in that its characteristics straddle the line between addiction and eating disorders. As a result, the medical community struggles with categorizing this condition, and many have even denied its existence. But many experts, including Nicole Avena of the Florida Brain Institute, say food addiction is very real and is partially biologically based. In fact, their research reveals some foods affect the brain the same way as other addictive drugs. No one knows this better than Nancy Anderson Dolan, who first started showing the signs of addictive eating patterns at age 2.
My earliest remembrance of actually eating food in an odd way, and I didn't know it at the time, was crawling into my closet with a box of crackers, like a whole box or a pound of butter, and just being so comforted eating it. And I didn't know at the time there's anything wrong, but later when people started noticing that I was hoarding food, I was really embarrassed about it, and then I started stealing it and hiding it and being a little more covert about it.
Nancy says it was a combination of biological disposition and family dysfunction that led to her addiction. At age 30 and at 300 pounds, Nancy's life was in jeopardy, and she finally decided to get help. Today, Nancy has dedicated her life to helping others overcome their food addiction and to educate medical professionals and the public about this very real condition.
My hope for the medical and professional communities is that the rift between people who see food addiction and that compulsive eating as an eating disorder or as an addiction gets healed, that people understand that it's both. The research that's going on right now in brain chemistry and the addiction process really shows that worldwide people are finding evidence for the fact that this is an addiction.
Understanding the emotional, spiritual, and biological causes of food addiction is key to overcoming it.
Having comprehensive intervention is the key to overcoming food addiction. Dealing with the brain, the physiology parts of it, and dealing with the emotional consequences of having been in the problem, and the real roots, which is often chemistry problems that create emotional and psychological issues.
Today, as far as controlling the food, I really leave that in my higher power's hands. I do follow a food plan, which a lot of people do, and that contains foods that are healthy for me in healthy amounts, on a healthy schedule, and eliminates a lot of my what I'd call trigger foods. I feel great. I feel grateful.
Wiseheart Wellness Services helps people discover a life beyond addictive eating. Wiseheart is directed by Nancy Anderson Dolan, who overcame her addiction to food and lost an astounding 150 pounds. Having mastered her addiction for more than 2 decades, Nancy is uniquely equipped to help others re-engineer their addictive eating patterns.
There's nothing like personal experience. When I talk to people, they say, "You get it." So we need to know that we are understood when we're in food addiction, and that combined with a lot of the study, the clinical work that I've done, the actual research work, I can combine all those things, and that's what I did. It was my own dissatisfaction with the outcomes for treating food addiction that drove me to find some better ways.
The Wiseheart Wellness Program tackles the biological, psychological, emotional, and spiritual causes of addictive eating. In addition to eating disorder and addiction counseling, Nancy recommends patients attend Overeaters Anonymous, an organization that recognizes the reality of food addiction. Nancy also employs the Robertson Institute Brain Chemistry Optimization Assessment software to pinpoint imbalances in brain chemistry.
The Robertson Brain Chemistry Assessment lets us know what exact brain chemicals are out of balance and how much, and gives us an idea of what the person's reward center is in their brain, so we know how to tailor treatment, actual foods, supplements, activities for that particular person to get the easiest way out of the problem and the addictive eating.
In treatment, Nancy stresses one tactic above all others: patience. Mastering food addiction is an ongoing, lifelong process, one she knows is possible.
If I could talk to myself at the time that I was at the worst of my binging, I would say, don't waste time blaming yourself and feeling like you should be able to do this on your own. Get some help, get on your knees, pray about it, ask people, talk to people, and don't give up until you actually get the help that you need.
Wiseheart Wellness Services. Re-engineer addictive eating patterns and reclaim your life. Visit us online at wiseheartweightmastery.com.